Round two. Let's have another go. Oh, I've just done this one once. Oh, I had to delete it. The echo was terrible. The video was just jumping all over the place. Matt Caesar was in the last one. He probably ain't going to jump into this one because he probably thinks it's the same video because I've titled it the same. I had to delete the other one. I don't know how Matt Caesar sat through it all. I really don't. Seamus Funk turned up. Hiya. This one, I feel like I'm just repeating myself now because I've done this once and I've had to delete it. So yeah, what's this one? This is Mr. We're going back to Mr. Batman again. Anybody who doesn't know who Mr. Batman is, have a look at one of my videos that's on my channel where I cover Mr. Batman is basically a fundamental Christian, is a homophobic, horrible piece of shit, basically. I've done a video on him. Yeah, you'll see what he's like on that. Go search Mr. Batman out yourself, and you'll find out just what a despicable person he is. Anyway, I was watching the Atheist Experience last night, and guess who jumped in? Mr. Batman. So we're going to look at that clip from last night when Mr. Batman jumps in. Is the same as Darth Dawkins. Mr. Batman and Darth Dawkins are cut from the same cloth, basically. They've got the spiel that they want to go through. And no matter what you say, that they're not interested in listening to you. They're not interested in engaging in a conversation. All they're interested in is getting their spiel across. And they think they've got you with you because what they'll do is they'll say, where does the laws of logic come from? Where does the laws of nature come from? And they break it down until you get to a point where you say, I don't know. And they go, well, we do know because it says in the Bible this, and this. So they seem to think that they've got an answer to everything. And because we can't answer everything, they seem to think that that's the got you. I don't know where the laws of nature come from. I don't know where the laws of logic come from. I don't care where they come from. I live in a world where clearly that works. But that's their argument. So anyway, we'll jump into the clip from the Atheist Experience last night. He tries to go through his spiel. They deal with him brilliantly. They just laugh at him and they just don't take no notice of him. And he just talks while they're talking. And we'll jump into it and see what it's like. This time, I'll make sure that I mute my mic because last time, the echoing was absolutely terrible. Also, the internet connection was bad. I did it for Wi-Fi. I've now connected it for with the wire. We're wired connected. So hopefully it should all work fine. But anyway, we'll see how we get on. And we'll add the clip to the stream and then I will mute myself.
The next caller. Do you have any preferences, Johnny? If not, I'm going to do it.
I have a preference, and I don't know if I'm going to regret it. I would say,
do it,
Mr. Batman.
You want to have the honors, or you want me to?
Yeah, I can do that.
Let's do it.
Mr. Batman, you are on the Atheist Experience with Shannon Q and Johnny P. Please mind your P's and Q's with us. What you say? Why atheists want scientific evidence for God when science presupposes God doesn't exist? Okay, let her rip.
Well, good evening, boys and girls. It's good to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me. I am Mr. Batman. I am also a science teacher.
Cool.
So in order to do science, you have to have certain natural aspects that have to be in place, such as the uniformity of nature. The uniformity of nature is the fact that all of the physical world works under uniform law-like patterns. We call these uniform law-like patterns natural laws, like laws of gravity, magnetism, thermodynamics, logic, mathematics. Where do those laws come from? Why do they not change over time? And why are they going to be here tomorrow?
I'm sorry, you lost me on the precept script there. Sorry, I zoned out. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's called a covenantal apologist. I understand that we have a covenant with a loving, living, logical lawgiver God.
Cool. You believe we have a covenant with a loving, living, logical lawgiver. Please prove that we have a covenant with a loving, living, natural, or whatever lawgiver. Living. Did I miss an L?
Be in Exodus. That would also
living, loving. She's just a woman.
Proof that God exists is the Bible itself. But in order for us to actually make
the proof that God exists is the Bible itself. Wow. So a napkin that says everything on this napkin is true is proof that everything on the napkin is true. And then I say you should give Johnny $1 million. It's the right thing to do. Would therefore be true? No, you don't mean that. So what do you actually mean by that?
Have the laws of cause and effect, sir?
Did you hear anything that I said?
He's just talking straight through it.
Yeah, he's just talking straight through. You're going to have to slow your roll there, Mr. Batman, because we're not as sharp as you are, Dark Knight of Logic. So please give us. Let's break it down. Why is the Bible the thing that we must turn to?
Talking about the covenant. That's the evidence for the covenant is the Bible. Now, if
okay. So why should we believe that the Bible is true?
Relationships are necessary.
Why should we believe that the Bible is true, Mr. Batman?
The sum of his word is truth. What is truth, sir? Can you tell me what truth is?
What is truth? It's that which comports with reality.
Excellent. That's the correspondence theory of reality. Since you need reality in order to actually know what is true, where does time, space, and matter come from? Because that's
I don't know. I don't know where time, space, and matter come from.
Now that you define truth, tell me how the universe came into existence. Yeah. God's real.
Iluvatar created the Ainur, and they sang the universe into existence. But then Melkor, who became Morgoth, sang a discordant tune. No, it's in the book. It's in the book. He sang a discordant tune, and then Iluvatar's like, you know what, Melkor? I predicted that. I'm weaving your discordant tune into the main theme of the Song of the Ainur. So sorry, bro. And then the Valar went out into Ea, and they created the world of Arda into as the song predicted. And then while they were creating it, they created the first children of Iluvatar, the elves, right? And then I think it was Orome. Got like really like, I'm so excited about the children. So he created the dwarves. Maybe he created the dwarves first, but then I think it was Iluvatar said, no, you can't do that. Okay, I'll stop.
Is this Lord of the Rings? Oh, okay, sorry. I'm
Silmarillion.
Wow. Oh, fair. Okay. I don't know.
But it's in the book, Shannon. It's in the book, and it's proof of itself. So all we have to do is, no, what do we have to do? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Batman. Tell us the real deal.
About science. Would you like to talk about science here? Because science requires cause-effect relationship.
I'm having a good time talking about Tolkien. Yeah.
What
science is a process. I know that.
Straight through the whole thing.
Yeah.
You just kept going, but Mr. Batman, you kept going through everything Johnny said as though he wasn't even speaking. Did you call to have a discussion, really, or is this a presuppositional apologist?
Presuppositionalist. I'm a covenant.
Where do you?
I gave you my. You don't like
Shannon.
me. I don't really care. I'm asking. In the previous caller, you were talking about truth and science. I have science.
We were having a great conversation with the previous caller because they're an honest interlocutor, and I was enjoying exploring the concepts with them because we could have a back and forth where we both listened to each other. This is how conversations generally work. One of us says mouth noises out of their face, and then the other person uses their ear holes to listen to those mouth noises and waits for that to be done. And then they think about the thing you said, and then they make mouth noises that reflect that they were thinking about that thing that they were listening to. What's happening here is that we're attempting to have a conversation with you, and the moment we interject, you just keep on talking until we take you off mute, and then get agitated.
And that's why the previous caller is invited back. You may or may not be invited back, Mr. Bat.
I'm asking you a question.
All right.
Okay. Invited back or not?
Fair enough. You know what? I don't care if you don't care.
Why do laws?
But ask me the question. I'll try to answer. I might just say, I don't know. Go ahead. And if you think that's a gotcha,
it's
not going to be a gotcha.
Yes, it is a gotcha. It is a gotcha because your worldview must be able to explain everything in the world that you view. That's why it's called a worldview, sir.
Really?
Once again.
Shannon, do you think that's true? Do I have to be able to explain everything? Why don't I? If I could do that, I'd go to Vegas.
So also, if you have, I can propose something I can propose something that explains everything. Just definitionally, I can define that concept into existence, right? That's the whole flying spaghetti monster thing, right? Like you can posit something that explains everything and then just point to it and say that explains everything, but it doesn't, right? Like there's nothing useful that you can glean from that. You can't do anything in reality with that concept that is helpful to acquiring knowledge. All it is just a posit of something that explains everything and then acting as though it does. Now, does my worldview need to explain everything? No, it doesn't. It doesn't need to explain everything to be true. But I, Shannon, doesn't need to explain everything that is existent in the external reality around me in order for it to be true. And as a part of my worldview, as a matter of fact, one of the things that I am proudest of in my worldview is that I don't actually think it explains everything just definitionally. I think that one of the most interesting and fascinating and beautiful things about my worldview is its humility. It is I understand that I need to learn things. I do not wander around saying, I have the explanation for everything. And if you can't, acquiesce to this ridiculous philosophical, gotcha that I have come up with, then that means not only is your worldview nonsense, but apparently, evidently, by some logical leap that I can't even begin to fathom, also simultaneously believes that my worldview is true, and my worldview has to do with all of these internally inconsistent things that I'm not even going to address, by the way. We're not going to talk about what I actually believe. Instead, what we're going to talk about is why I think that your belief system or structure is nonsense, because it doesn't explain everything when mine does. Like it's just a circular, nonsense, non-productive conversation. Are we going to do something different than that today, or should we just hang up? Because it drives me nuts.
Yeah, Shannon, God magicked it into existence. So there you go. That explains everything. And that's obviously superior to your ever-evolving, ever-unfolding understanding of the world and the human race's ever-blooming understanding of the material world. No, God magicked it happened. It has an answer for everything. Therefore, checkmate forever, atheists. Go get your shine box.
I'm convinced.
To be able to do the scientific method.
You just kept talking. Okay, goodbye. See you later. Well, that sure was fun. Oh, you just kept
in quotation marks.
I don't know how you can even. Oh man, like what motivates someone to wake up in the morning and
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
the Holy Spirit.
The power of Christ compelled them. All right. So you ready for the next one? Yeah. Oh, I'm
Right, that's it. I tried to mute the other. Oh, hang on a minute.
University students and faculty in discussions about life's hardest questions.
Shut up. That's better. Left the thing on. Simmers Funk. Yes, I have had a debate with him. Oh, well, I feel sorry for you. How did you get through that? You'll have to chuck a link in somewhere. I'll search your channel. I'll have to see the debate with him. I don't know anybody can debate. The people like, say, Darth Dawkins and him, they just don't engage in a conversation. There's just no conversation there at all. I don't know how he does it, because I wouldn't be able to be talking while somebody else is talking to him and still not lose where I'm going. What do? Do they pull the headphones out so they can't hear the response coming back, so they can just go through it all? How many times did he say, sir? Yeah, it says it all the time, doesn't he? Yeah, like I said, what do? Do they pull their headphones out so they can't hear any response, so it doesn't interrupt the flow, and they just go through the script? It's unbelievable. And yeah, and why the likes of him and Darth Dawkins seems to think that atheists must have an answer for everything. Where do the laws of logic come from? Where do the laws of nature come from? We don't need to have it. And atheism isn't a worldview. Atheism has got nothing to do with how I deal with life and problems that life brings. It just doesn't. But anyway, that was what I watched last night. I thought it was quite funny, and I thought, well, I'm going to try and share it today. This is my second attempt. I did a right hash of the first one, so it looks like this one might have come out all right. So hopefully this one's come out all right. So yeah, most of you that are in the chat, you'll know who Mr. Batman is an homophobic fundamental Christian. which I mentioned in the last video. So it says in the Bible that their interpretation that homosexuals are bound to go to hell, and it's against the God's law, God's commandments, whatever you want to call it. But one thing I noticed about Mr. Batman, he turned up in Smoker Stream's channel a few months ago now. I did a video on it, if anybody wants to see that, where he's basically comes across as a homophobe. Well, he is an homophobic lunatic, and he's clearly drunk in there. And also one of the commandments is not to have idols, isn't it? It clearly idolizes Batman, a fictitious figure. Even so, it still idolizes Batman, which actually probably makes sense because God being fictitious and Batman being fictitious, it makes sense, I suppose. It also says in the Bible, no tattoos, can't have tattoos. He's got a Batman tattoo, again, idolizing Batman tattoo on his right arm. But yet, he clearly ignores them commandments. He's got some way in his own mind of getting round that, whereas the homosexuals know they're going to go to hell. Yeah. Anyway, that was my video. I thought I'd do my second attempt, see how it come up. Yeah. So, yeah, I've got a few people in. We've got Ben Swartz, Seamus Funk, Kind 9. We did have Mark Caesar in the first video that I did, and I don't know how we stayed through it. It did nothing but echo. I'd left my microphone on and I was still in the thing, so it echoed like hell. So yeah, I deleted that one and I've done this one. Anyway, I'm going to jump out. Hope you all have a great day. I'm having a great day because the wife's at work, so I've got the house to myself. That's why I'm not in the shed broadcasting this. And I've got today off, tomorrow off, and then I'm back at work Wednesday because I'm doing my 4 days on, 4 days off. So I'm halfway through my 4 days off. Anyway, I'll tuck my little video back in and I'll jump out. And I'll catch you all later.